Welcome to LOTTO Strzegom Horse Trials here in Strzegom. The weather is beautiful, and with me is Helen West. Hello.
Hello. Great to be here. And my gosh, what a fantastic weekend for the sport.
It's amazing. How do you feel here in Strzegom?
Honestly, I am so fortunate to be here. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to come here and design. I've designed obviously at home in England quite a bit, in Ireland, in America, and this is my first time obviously in Poland, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here.
So the Strzegom is an amazing place. The riders likes it really a lot, but Nations Cup is something completely different, isn't it?
It is. It's very special. And I actually designed the Nations Cup of the Great Britain leg last month. So then to be able to come to Poland, to Strzegom, and do a Nations Cup here is really special. And, you know, it's such a fantastic competition because, you know, that team camaraderie and the team spirit is really something you don't always feel when you're competing as an individual, and it's a great opportunity to give experience to up and coming combinations. You know, it's a shop window for them to learn being part of a team and the strategy that goes with that. So it's a really big deal, and it's great for the venue. Strzegom absolutely deserves to be hosting this because it is such a top class facility. You know, I've evented for many years in lots of different countries, and now with my design. And you know, this is a fantastic venue. We are so lucky to have it. The investment that they've put in here, the fences, the footing, it's second to none.
This is what I want to ask you. How is it for you to be a designer after you are a rider? Is it harder or not?
No, honestly, I think you have to have been a rider to just understand how lines are going to feel and how horses travel, how they move. I think it's, you know, kind of an essential prerequisite to actually then going on to design. And I think it's also quite important, you know, to still kind of keep your hand in as a rider. I don't ride, you know, nearly as much as I used to when obviously I was eventing, but I still just even, you know, just jumping young horses and just experiencing how that feels. And, you know, I think that's very important. And I think it's something that, you know, that helps with the design hugely.
Do you feel any pressure on you?
Huge pressure. I can't begin to tell you the responsibility that you feel that you have on your shoulders, because, you know, you always set out to do your absolute best, and you just want to obviously get it right. You know, you want the track to be fair for everyone. You want to be able to test the best, but you want the less experienced horses and the combinations that are perhaps, you know, doing their first 4-star or their first Nations Cup for sure, to have a positive experience. And you do everything you possibly can, and then at the very last minute you sort of hand that responsibility back over to the riders, and it's out of your control, and that's really hard.
It is. It must be hard. We mentioned about the pressure. So what do you like in your work the most?
So it's funny you should say that, and I think, you know, honestly, I think the involvement with eventing is largely based on adrenaline. You know, and we joke about the riders being adrenaline junkies. You know, we do it for that thrill that we get and that buzz that we get. And actually, interestingly, the design side I feel gives me that adrenaline rush and that buzz that I used to have when I was setting off cross country. So that, you know, although it is pressure, that's also part of the bit that we kind of love about it.
Helen, it was a huge pressure. No, it wasn't a pressure for me. It was a pleasure for me to have you here. Lovely to have you here in Strzegom.
Thank you very much.
And it's lovely to have you here in Strzegom as well with us for a Nations Cup.